Assumed.
Okay.
We're live. Look at that.
Let's see. Ugh. Okay, so we don't have viewers yet, but we're just gonna start. I'm gonna share this video later or anything.
Okay.
Hey guys, I'm Boydonick. Where's the camera? Is it right here? There. Right there.
There. And I'm Jace the Caveat.
I go by Boydonick on like all my social media, so maybe you know me as that. I want to do a video because, well, I want to do a video about creating a dialogue, talking about issues that matter. I feel so weird going live. I don't get to like rehearse this. By the way, this is all live, so we're just gonna go right through. We're not rehearsing anything. See, this is why I don't like to go live.
Yeah, we're just mainly talking about starting a dialogue and how people of color, white people, people from different backgrounds, people from different class backgrounds can still talk about issues without, losing their shirt in an argument.
This video was inspired because I talk about a lot of things like on my Tumblr and Facebook, like different issues about body positivity and stuff like that. And I get called out a lot about not addressing issues with people of color and stuff like that. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that because the way that people talk to me about that is very aggressive, and it's always dismissive of the things that I am talking about. While POC and Black Lives Matter and a lot of those things are extremely important, dismissing other people's arguments, dismissing the things that they're talking about, dismissing it to push your own agenda isn't a good way to get people to listen to you. Shutting them down, it's not an effective way at creating a dialogue to get someone to listen to you. And that's what I want to talk about more. Like, you want to talk about
yeah. Oh no, I definitely hear that. I see a lot of the different sides to the argument. There are some people who say that protest and dialogue should be a thing of attack and action, and you should be just like you should use discourse as a form of disruption, kind of, and like that's a school of thought. I'm not necessarily from that school of thought. I think it's better if everyone argues and everybody understands what an argument is versus what being a dick to somebody is. Like I wish people understood the difference between that more. Ooh, and actually listened, to what the other person is saying instead of. So I completely get where you're coming from.
See, this is why I put my phone in airplane mode.
You can't be live and on airplane mode.
I just got a phone call. It's like I hope he doesn't keep calling. But basically, I wanted to do a video talking about those issues that people keep saying I'm not addressing. But talking with Jace, we decided the more appropriate video to do is how to create a dialogue, how to create that dialogue to talk about any issue, whether it be like a POC, a body positivity. This is so annoying. I'm sorry.
People love us. Yeah, people love Donut. People love him.
I need help with this boss. My friend wants me to join to play games. Yeah, so before we can have that conversation, I wanted to have this conversation. And when you're whatever issues are important to you that you want to talk about, if someone else is also stating their issue, an effective way at getting them to listen is to also acknowledge what they're talking about, not dismissing it and shutting it down and saying your problems are worse. Your problems are very important. Everyone, but.
What did we talk about the other day? We can't compare struggle, we can only compare lessons.
Yeah, we can't compare your pain with people. Like, my pain's worse than your pain. But what's important is the lessons that we get from those pain, the lessons that we learn, and the lessons we can share with each other.
The messaging is killing you, right? It's killing you.
It's like, they weren't doing this before the video. I had to do a live. It's like they know. Like, oh, he's doing live. Let's just message him and
we
call
love
him. So Jace also wanted to talk about allies.
Oh yeah, about allies, and I wanted to talk about what that means. I have a lot of friends who are both, not even just both. I have a lot of friends who are black, white, and other, and so for me, I spend a lot of my time listening to what their experiences are in a day-to-day life in America, being somebody who's a millennial and young, and who's still figuring out what it's like to just be out here. And for me, I guess the reason that I always hear people screaming so loud, or the reason that people are always screaming so loud, is because no one actually listens, or at least the perception is that no one listens when people of color talk. And so I would challenge anybody who's looking to be an ally the one thing you have to do is be a very good listener, and you have to listen through the pain. Because for me, I don't think there's a difference between, you know, hearing somebody out and then saying your piece, and then I don't think there's a difference between that and just disregarding what they said altogether and getting to your point.
You don't think there's a difference with that?
There's no difference. There's no difference. Unless you actually stood there, took it in, thought, is this true or not? Is this real or not? And then proceeded on with your point, you still didn't listen. Even if you sat there and waited with your point, you just waited for them. If you already made up your mind before, you didn't actually listen. Because it's not an honest response, it's a canned response. But that's the only thing I wanted to say. And, you know, for all the people out there who are actually helping marginalized communities, you know, trying to be body positive, trying to help people of color, I appreciate that. I just wish more people would listen. It's the talking stick. We should make that a talking stick.
No, the person who's not talking should have it, because you can't talk and be like,
oh my god, you were smoking for like 5 straight minutes.
I know. We have to we're figuring this out as we go. I'm figuring out when you're not talking is when you should be smoking. I'm just worried this is too loud.
There's not even weed in this. It's not that loud.
Okay. Well,
oh my god.
I think, did you effectively communicate the point you were trying to make?
I think I did. Allies should listen more. People of color, make sure that you speak your mind and let it be heard, and talk about your experiences over everything else. And Donick, what you were saying before about, you know, you can't compare pain, you can only compare lessons from the pain. Because a lot of the stories I hear from both white people and people of color from every race is that class is the one unifier. So like, each of us knows somebody who's poor, each of us knows someone who's middle class, each of us knows someone who's white.
Is it loud or not? I feel like it's really loud, but it's like right next to my ear, so maybe
What,
it's
the
not.
hookah?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess we'll find out in post, won't we? Each of us knows someone who's rich. So the thing is, if you broke it down along those lines, and then we talk about our experiences, and we actually talk about who could pay for what in that experience, that would probably help to heal up a lot of the issues I see. Because it's always, at least where I'm coming from, I hear, oh, I didn't get this, or I didn't get that, or it was weird for me and I was poor too. And it's like, how long is that gonna be where the conversation stops? We need to go past that. Okay, we were all poor at one point, or we have been at one point. So are you listening to the other person's side of what their experience was while being poor? And was it easier or harder for them to get a job while they were poor? Based on...
Are you talking about comparing pain or relating?
Yeah, I'm talking about comparing pain. Yeah.
I think that a lot of us have been through a lot of fucked up shit, and we want to use those, not as really crutches, but to get people to understand where we're coming from. Like, well, I was through this. So that's why when I say this, it means more, because I went through something. But everyone's always been through something more fucked up. You know, I hear people's stories, and I hear some other story, and I'm like, damn, that's even worse, and oh, damn, that's even worse. And someone's always been through some worse shit, and I hate people that always try to crutch or use those as reasons why what they're saying is important. Tell me what you learned from that. Tell me like what lessons you've learned, and what can you share with me because of that. I think that's a lot more important than comparing our struggles kind of thing.
Yeah, because I can promise there's always someone with a more fucked up story, and the guy with the most fucked up story still didn't win because he has the most fucked up story. So no one solved anything.
The reason I wanted to make this video now is because I guess it's been a long time coming. A lot of people have, whenever I do a video about some other issue, it always comes back to Black Lives Matter and like, what about racism? And that seems to be like the one thing people are always bringing up. It's never, when I do a video, it's never, what about feminism or what about anything else? It's always, you don't talk about racism and prejudice and stuff like that. So I was like, sure, let's do that video. But I did realize before we get to that video, we need to talk about making that dialogue, because the way people approach me about making it is very aggressive. They're always shutting down the things I'm trying to say to get their point across, and it's probably like the least effective way. I mean, maybe it's kind of effective. It's gotten me to do this video, so it's had some kind of effect, but it could be more effective. You could be more effective in the way you talk to people.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Nice one.
Thanks.
About 4.5.
Out of 5?
Out of 10.
Out of 5. Well, I think we can end this video. It's 10 minutes. Okay.
Yeah. Please, guys, listen to each other. Follow me online at Jace_the caveat. We'll probably put it in the description below or something. But yeah, thanks for having me, and I hope everybody learns to fucking listen.
Bye, guys. Oh. Some of you guys know who this is. I just wanted to cameo. Okay.
There we go.
Alright, bye, guys.